fish, we send them down and they send them home that way. We also have another person here. We don't have to walk out so they can go back. All right, Dane's gonna take a picture. See how the belly's all big in? It was big and full of eggs. Now she's empty, ready to go back to the lake. So the next thing they're doing is adding milk to fertilize the eggs. So they're gonna stir that in. Once they add the water, everything starts happening, and those eggs have about 30 to 45 seconds to get fertilized. So they're starting them up, and then they'll shake these eggs for 2 minutes. Yeah, Andy will bring them over here so you can look at them.
Hey, once you've seen it, back up so the others can. Once you've seen it, back up so somebody else can see, please. Do not touch anything.
So we'll shake these for 2 minutes, and one thing they're doing is trying to keep those eggs from clumping up. In the wild, when walleye expel their eggs and they get fertilized, they get sticky. And the reason they do that is they stick to the rocks and the sand on the lake bottom to keep them from going anywhere, and then the water, fresh water, washes over them to keep them well oxygenated. Well, in the hatchery, we don't want the eggs to stick together. So we're spending 2 minutes making sure these get fertilized, and they're mixed up. And after 2 minutes, we're going to take them over there and do a clay bath. And then they'll rinse them, or they'll wash them in a clay bath for 2 minutes, and that clay will take the stickiness off the eggs forever. So then when they go to put them in the hatchery, and in the bigger hatcheries, and they tumble in the hatchery jars and incubate, they don't stick together. So we'll walk over there in just a minute, and then you can see that part. The bigger the fish, the angrier they get. They definitely are stronger. It's amazing how strong some of these fish are. Yes. That's a good question. She asked, do all the eggs survive when you put them in the lake? We let the eggs hatch out, and then we stock the fish as fry. But the vast majority of the fry that we stock actually do not survive. Because when we stock them, they're about the length of an eyelash or so. They're not very big. As soon as they hatch out, we have about 4 days to get them into a lake. Because you know how eggs have yolks? Like you crack an egg and you see a yolk? When a fish hatches, its yolk is attached to it. And that's how it lives for about 4 days until it absorbs that. And it's got to be somewhere where it can eat food. So we stock them in a lake, and we stock them by the millions in these lakes, knowing that the vast majority of them don't survive.
But 3 minutes. The red stuff, so that's some of the stuff that's in the fish that comes out when the eggs do. But it then explain what the eggs do when they come out in nature, like if they're out in the lake, how they're sticky.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. So Lewis is taking the stickiness off the eggs. So he'll do this for 3 minutes. And after that, John's going to take the pan and rinse the eggs off, and he's going to put them in the hardening troughs over here. So these eggs right now are really fragile. Like if you just press on them a little bit, you can pop them. So that's why he's using a paintbrush with soft bristles and just gently stirring it back and forth. Once we rinse the clay off the eggs, you put them in the hardening trough, those eggs will sit for 4 hours. And after 4 hours, you can actually handle them and scoop them up with measuring cups and stuff. These eggs hatch out, they get fry, and they grow. They do in the first year of life. These fish will grow, these fish that hatch out this spring will grow to anywhere from 7 to 8 some of the eggs.
Some of you up front can take a step back and let some people behind you see if they want to. Okay? You don't have to go up there, but you can look.
Yes. Question? How many eggs can a fish lay in a day? Some of the biggest fish we have can hold about 1.5 to 2 quarts worth of eggs. So that's the eggs that come around here. They're about 135,000 to the quart. So one fish could hold well over 200,000 if it's big enough. If it's big enough. Double the size, because as they sit in the water, they'll swell up. And so this is what we call water hardening, and you can see some of the eggs are moving there. We have water coming up underneath them, just circulating, keeping fresh water running over the eggs and just tumbling them. So again, these will sit for 4 hours, and after 4 hours, we'll scoop them up. We put them into bags. Those bags go into coolers, and we send them up to Spirit Lake, where they go into jars. And then those eggs will sit in the jars for anywhere from 18 to 24 days it takes them to hatch. The warmer the water, the faster the eggs hatch. The colder the water, the longer it takes. So this is the last step in the process that we do here. We're called a satellite hatchery. So we collect the eggs, we fertilize them, but we don't incubate them. And so we send them off to a bigger hatchery where they incubate, and they have staff there that collect the fry. And they keep some of those fry to raise out to bigger fish, and then they stock a lot of the fry into our lakes. Well, here. Wind has been blowing really hard, it's stirred the lake up, and now the water's all cloudy. We could see the bottom of the tank earlier.
I see several. Just look for ripples, guys.
Here, I'll just show you
Maybe over
some.
there. Oh, he's pulling out the net.
I'm just gonna lift them up so you can see them.
Oh, he catches. There's so many. How much? Oh, watch out. Watch out. Aggressive. Oh, I didn't even know there was
There's
more.
a big one right there.
That's a big one. That's a big one. They're not. Oh!
Tank right now, they probably wouldn't eat it. They've kind of been through a lot, and their fish can get stressed out just like people do, and so they're just kind of hanging out. And when the water's cold like this and they're in a tank, they don't really want to do much.
Do they like the water?
This big, they're a little harder to control.